Hi everyone and welcome to Heart-Filled Spaces. This is going to be just a quick tutorial on how to load the 3D paper Christmas houses into Cricut Design Space in Silhouette Studio. I've had a lot of questions on these. These are the free Christmas houses that are available in the library. There are 4 of them and they are large size houses created from 12 by 12 cardstock. So in order to load these houses into the software, you will need to download them from your machine. And what we're doing here is we're starting in the library. And if you're unfamiliar with the library and how to download files, there's a quick little video right up here at the top. It's 2 minutes long. That will help you with that process. Other than that, there's a table of contents at the top. The different categories are here. So for the Christmas houses, we're going to click on Christmas. It's going to scroll us down. And then this little icon over here where it says 3D paper Christmas houses, you're going to click on that. And this is going to open up all the files available to you to create the Christmas houses. The SVG file is the one you're going to use for most cutting machine softwares, and that is the very last file down here at the bottom. It says Christmas houses. It gives the last date it was updated. And then this .svg at the end is very important. That is what you will need to look for when you're going to download this file. If you cannot see these file extensions on the end of the files, you can go up here to this icon. It may look like this when you click on the link, and this is confusing to some people, but this little icon here, if you click it, it puts it in a list format and you can see all of the file extensions, and you can see that the bottom file is an SVG file. Sometimes on devices this file will come in and it will look like a web browser or an HTML file. It just confuses people, but just know that this last file here is the SVG file, and this is the one you want to download. Now when you get to this point, you have not downloaded the file yet. You need to click on the file or double click on it, and you're going to get to this black preview screen. And a lot of people get confused here as well. This is the last page in the file. You cannot see all of the file. You can only see the last page. This is a preview here. You have not downloaded the file yet. Now, when you go up here into the upper right-hand corner, there is this downward-facing arrow, and if you hover over it, it says download. If you click on that arrow, it does now download the file to your device. So you can see here, this bar has popped up at the bottom, and it has showed me that it has actually downloaded the file to my machine. These default into your downloads folder on your device. So now that we've downloaded it, and we can see that the file name is Christmas Houses, and then it has updated August 2022. So now at this point, we will go and open our cutting machine software. So I'm going to open Cricut Design Space, and I'm going to go to the Upload button, and then I'm going to do Upload Image, and then I'm going to do Browse. And here you can see this in my Downloads folder. At the very top, it says today the Christmas houses were downloaded, and it even says today, and it gives you the time. So you can click on that and you can click open, and you're going to get this little prepare to download window that kind of now shows you what is in this file, and then you can click upload. Now you want to select the file that's in the upper left, the farthest to the left. That's the most recent one that's been uploaded. Make sure there's a green box around it and click add to canvas. Now the files are actually on your canvas in your cutting machine software. I'm going to shrink them down so you can see them. These files come in grouped, so you can ungroup them over here in the layers panel, ungroup it, and then you can see it has been ungrouped. So now what we can do is at the top of each layer are these black lines. These black lines, if you hold your command key down, or I believe your control key on a PC, and then you click on these, you can select them all together. These black lines at the top of these layers, these are the score lines. And so you need to select them and then come over to Operation, choose the drop-down arrow, and choose Score. And you can see that it changed all of those cut lines to score lines. And I actually made a mistake here. This last one here, this is actually still a cut line. So we're going to switch that back to basic cut. So you can see here, like these are the flaps on the houses. They're going to be scored, but the door's open. And so that's why I changed that one back to a cut line. Now, if you scroll down over here in the layers panel and you go to the next one, the black line again is what we're looking for here. These are the score lines. So you would highlight it and then choose score. And you can see that those fold lines change to score lines. And then what I often just go ahead and attach these right here so that I don't forget. And then I would do it again. Attach. And now we're going to move on down to the next house. If you click on the house, it will automatically take you to that layer. And so here we go for the next house, the very top layer. These are the score lines. If you change them, you see they change the dashes over on the screen. And this next one, that is the doors. We're going to go ahead and leave those as a cut line. And then if you click on this line, it's going to take you to that layer. The very top one, again, these black lines, these are the score lines. We're going to choose score. And then you can see that that's changed. And then I'm going to go ahead and attach these right away so that I don't forget later. Okay, and then we're just going to work our way all the way down through. So here we've chosen this next house and this top line here, and I'm just going to look here. It looks like these are all double. So these top two are again the score lines. If you click off, and then you can see this next, these are the cut lines for around the door. We want to leave those. And again, we're going to go ahead and attach. Okay, and then we're going to go over to this roof, and these are all score lines. I have them all grouped together, so you can just change them once, change them to score, and you see all of those are fold lines. These are score lines. And again, we're going to attach. Can't remember if I did this one, so I'm going to double check it, and yes, I did. And then we're on the last house here, so we will click here. And again, here we go. These score lines are right at the top, the black lines. We choose score. If you click off, you can see what's happened, but the chimney here still has a score line on it. So we're going to choose that layer, and we're going to choose score. And then I'm going to go ahead and attach these again so that we don't forget. And then the very last one with a score line is this roof. And we're going to select that score line in the layers panel, and then we're going to choose score. And we're going to go ahead and attach these lines. And I believe I did this one already. Yes, I did. So now we're ready to cut. Now, if you click on these, you can see the size. Okay, so like I clicked on this roof, and it is 11.636 wide. And then the height on it is 7.938. And this one is 11.6 by 10.371. So most of my newer files are already sized to be cut on the proper cardstock, but because I created these files a while ago, they're just slightly off. In Cricut Design Space, you can cut on a 12 by 12 piece of cardstock, you can cut 11.5 by 11.5. So I can tell you right now that this is just a little big. So if you want a quick way of knowing how to do that, you can come over here to the Shapes panel, and you can click the rectangle, and you now have created a rectangle. And what we can do, just to be sure, is we can do 11.5 by 11.5, and this is the size cardstock that you can have. So you can come up here to arrange, and then you can send this to the back, and then this kind of gives you a guideline. Now here, when you're resizing these files, now we know that this one here across is all the same house. So let's highlight everything on that first house. Now, as we size it, it's going to resize everything in there. So what we want to do is we want to highlight everything in there, and we can actually take this over here. We can tell that it's just slightly big. So what we will do is we will select everything in there, and then I'm going to come over here to the layers panel and hold my command key down and deselect that black square. So now you can see we're sitting on top of this 11.5 by 11.5 piece paper. I have selected all of the house pieces in that one file, and then we can hold our shift key down and just resize this, and it's going to size it all of the pieces together so that we don't lose the shape of things when we go over to cut it. And so you can tell here by these, dimensions where we're going, at least on the height, you can't on the width. And it looks to me like we are now there. And to know for sure, you can come over here over the house, and then we're going to go ahead and hold our command key down, and we're going to deselect that square. And now you can tell this house is now 11.369 by 10.15, which falls within that 11.5 by 11.5 range. And so we know we're going to be able to cut that on a piece of 12 by 12 cardstock in Cricut Design Space. And this one also is falling in the right range. Now, with this first couple houses, what we will need to do is we need two panels of this, okay? So what we're going to do is hold our Option key down, or Alt key, I think, on a PC, and we're just going to drag this over, and that's going to make two of this side of the house. We don't need two steeples, so we could, detach this and then highlight the second steeple. Now we got to ungroup it, and then we're going to highlight this. Boy, it's being stubborn, huh? So maybe we'll just grab it over here. And then we're also going to hold our command key down and grab those score lines, and then we can choose delete. So now we have one steeple, we have two sides to our house, we have the roof, and we have the vellum. And so you'll have to repeat that also for this. So we could do that again. We would highlight the first house, hold our Option or Control key down, and click and drag, and that's going to duplicate that layer. And then this one already has both sides of the houses in there. Now we can do it for this one. Option or Alt and drag it over. And then we'll need to get rid of that chimney so we can detach. And then we're probably going to have to ungroup. And then we'll try to click on it. And of course that didn't work. So we're going to go over to the Layers panel. And we're going to find that. Let me click on that, find out where that is. And we'll go from there. So here it is right here. This is the chimney. And then this here is the score lines for that chimney. And we're going to go ahead and click delete. And so now you have, two sides for each house. You have the roof and you have the vellum. And we've attached all of the score lines. So we can go ahead and choose Make It. And now here it tells you this is good. This came up. It says this project is not supported by your current machine selection. Now, what it's trying to tell you here is something on this page is bigger than 11.5 by 11.5. And so we have to go find out what's too big to print. And so we know it's not this first column because we've already done that. So if I click on these, see this one here, it's bigger than 11.5. So what I would do in this case is I would just highlight everything. And again, I would hold my Shift key down and just drag it just ever so slightly smaller so that they're all together is when you want to resize. And now see, we're at 11.479. So we know that this will cut on 12 by 12 cardstock. Now let's check this one. So here we are. We're just a little bit over again on this file size. So what we can do again is highlight everything. And then hold your Shift key down and we're gonna just make it ever so slightly smaller. Let's try there and see what we end up with. And there we are. So this is now smaller than 11.5 by 11.5. And then we can do the same thing over here if this is too big. And yes, look, 11.503. So it's just a little too big. Highlight everything. And then we're just going to make it a little bit smaller. And let's see where that lays now. And there we are. Now we've done that. Okay, so everything now is smaller than 11.5. And so now we can hit Make It. And there you go. Now it's kicking us over. Now here we go. This is also good that it happened. Somewhere along the line, I forgot to attach a score line. So this is perfect that you're seeing this because this is, if you see this, this is not right. So we're going to hit cancel. And we're going to shrink this down again so we can see everything here. And we have got to figure out what is not attached. So let's check this one is attached and this one. And we know that was a house, so because of the shape of it. That one is attached. This one is attached. And this one is attached. So I'm trying to figure out which one. Was it one of these ones? That one says it's attached. This one is not attached. So this one we got to attach. And this one doesn't. So I'm going to go ahead and attach that one as well. And this one is attached. Okay, so let's try again. Let's go make it. And this is what we want to see. This is perfect. So you can see that our material size is 12 by 12. You can see on this particular house, you get 2 on one sheet. And then as we go down through, there's the roof. There's the next house. There's the next one. There's the roof. And now these yellow panels, these are all vellum. So you're going to need to load vellum on. And so these yellow panels are vellum. And then these are, again, 12 by 12 cardstock as you go through them. And that would give you the 4 houses. So that's how you do these Christmas houses in Cricut Design Space. Now, if you're working in Silhouette Studio, let me just quickly jump over there and try and give you a quick run through on that one. And then here we are, and it opened on a 12 by 12 canvas. So in Silhouette Studio, it's a little easier. You just do File and Open. And again, these houses are going to be in your Downloads folder. There they are right at the top. And you're going to click OK. And now these houses are here. You just can't see them. It only showed that last file on the canvas. But if you do Control minus or Command minus and it zooms out, you can see all of the houses here in a zoomed out manner. And so the yellow is the vellum, and then these green are these are the 3 different roofs. So you can see that the score lines on these houses come over as dashed lines, and that will kind of give it the fold lines like a perforated line over here in Silhouette Studio, so that your blade will drop down and lift wherever it's going to make a fold, so that there's kind of a perforated line that you can fold over. And so that's pretty much it. You don't need to attach them or anything. You just need to drag things on and off of your canvas according to what you're cutting. And then you would just drag this off of your canvas when you're done. You have to highlight the entire file, keeping those score lines with it, and then you would drag it onto your canvas, and then you would load your cardstock, and you would cut your cardstock, and then again move this one off and move the next one on. And that's how you would do it. You would cut 2 of each of, you want 2 of each of the houses. So I'm just going to scroll over here. Like all of the houses here only have the one side, so you would need to cut the other side, except for this one house. I was able to fit 2 on a 12 by 12 cardstock. So when you load, say, this house here onto your canvas, you would just cut it twice, and that would create your house. And so I think that would go ahead and answer most of your questions on getting started with these files. In the Send menu, if you're working under the Simple menu, I don't have my machine connected right now, so I'm not going to really get into all of that. But you're going to use either 65-pound cardstock or heavier to make these houses, and so you would choose your setting according. So let's see if it has this on here. So there's cardstock plain, there's cardstock heavy, 80-pound. You would pick your cardstock weight according to what cardstock you're using. And then, of course, there's, I have a custom vellum setting there, but there's also a vellum setting in here that you can use for the vellum. So you would change your setting according to the material that you're cutting. And I think that should get you guys started on this. Thanks so much for watching.